Right guys, back for another market analysis video, 23rd of February 2023. So as per, we're starting off with the indices, starting off with ES. So essentially, I just wanted to bring up this chart on the 3-day. You can see that the trajectory marked out in the last crypto market analysis video with the black arrow is still following exactly to plan. Essentially, we were here during the last market review. We swept the higher time frame high, also coming into these levels of horizontal resistance, started coming back down, and now we've got clean closes on the 3-day underneath that level, okay? So yeah, for this sort of analysis, there's not that much I need to expand on. Essentially, what I said in the last video is I need to see this high taken for the higher time frame market structure to be flipped and for there to be a substantial bullish argument on the table. And yeah, as you'll remember, I said, until that point, this is still a macro lower high. And essentially the higher time frame trajectory on ES is, within bearish market structure, okay? Now, if you want to see this explanation expanded on further, just refer to the last market analysis video, but for the sake of not repeating myself, that's all I'm going to say on ES, okay? So let's move over to NQ. So not much to say on the NQ side of things either. Essentially still an unchanged black line that we drew in the last session, just demonstrating where we could have come up to sort of retain the higher time frame bearish market structure. We didn't quite get to that point. We failed at sort of 13s now and started closing underneath, okay? Now, this sort of 13s, 12,950 level was incredibly pivotal for NQ. You can see the higher time frame touch points all the way across here. At the moment, we're failing underneath that level as we tap into it. And yeah, it goes without saying, bulls really want to see that level reclaimed. Otherwise, bears still have the higher time frame bearish market structure intact, okay? Now over to DXY, the picture is largely unchanged. It's sort of just progressed from the last market review, okay? So during the last market analysis, we spoke about this sweep of the lows at the 101s, as well as this tap into the higher time frame SR level and close back above. We can see that play out is still pushing to the upside. What I touched on in the last video is that this picture is pretty worrying for bears. And if we go over to the daily and look at the indicators, we can see that the oscillators, particularly the AO, we're showing this clean, weakening momentum structure as we ground down into these levels, okay? So for me, the dollar still looks bullish, which again is of course a worrying sign for risk markets. From this point, I'm looking at this sort of SR level within here, okay? And that level is around the 105s, okay? So if we can start pushing above and reclaim this level, then, it really is a worrying picture for the bears, and especially those that are, hyper bullish on the risk markets, crypto included, that have, already called for lows in the crypto market and believe we're at the start of a new bull market, okay? So yeah, all eyes at the moment should be on the sort of 105s, okay? We either take it, breach past, reclaim, start pushing up, or of course we fail here, start pushing down, and then again our eyes are on the 102s for the reaction. So if we can hold this and again push higher, if we start closing underneath, obviously we can start talking about, more risk on approach to the risk markets and crypto included. Okay, so now on to ETH and BTC. So we can see that ETH over the last week or so has still been struggling with this, very pivotal 1700s, right? Now, we're on the 4-hour here. I'm just going to take you over to a slightly higher time frame view so we can, again, just recap how pivotal the 1700s are. So here we are on a clean chart, okay? And I'm just going to whack on a horizontal line. Just plug in 1700 so we can see just how critical this line is, okay? So we can see we've had multiple touch points back here in sort of April 21 to July, and then we come down, retest again. We can see multiple touch points here, nearly retesting, and we're just struggling to breach past it once again, okay? So, having a horizontal level that's so pivotal like this on any chart makes things pretty easy. Just purely in the sense that we clearly have, a very strong SR level by which we can say above bullish, below bearish to a degree. And, you know, at current, we are clearly still failing at that resistance point, okay? Now, of course, whether we sort of break up or start failing here is purely subjective, but there are some clues here, okay? So the good news for the bulls is that we've been consolidating under this resistance level for, you know, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, right? And of course, as we know, generally speaking, consolidation under resistance is bullish. But look, with that said, you know, any sort of speculation here is essentially a guessing game, but it's 100% something we should be keeping our eye on, you know, for the crypto market as a whole. If we can start getting closes above here, and for instance, we get a strong weekly close above the 17s, then, you know, in my opinion, that's a critical clue that the market's giving us as to its direction, okay? Now over to BTC, starting with the 4-hour, we can see that, you know, pretty much we're just range bound here, okay, and we have been for a week or so. We can see, yeah, 7 days, 20 hours within this range here. And you can see that quite simply, I have alerts set either side, okay? Unless you're a scalper or an active intraday trader, I highly recommend taking this approach as well, especially for range bound bracketing conditions. You know, essentially what you want to see is you want to see the interaction as we come down to either side, whichever's first. And essentially you're looking either for, you know, sweeps, such as this, or you're looking for price to break out, start closing above, sustain itself, and push in either direction, okay, depending on the direction of the breakout. Now, overall, Bitcoin still looks, you know, generally speaking, quite bullish based on the price action alone, not taking into account the indices, DXY, just on its individual PA. We can see, you know, we're still generally uptrending, we're range bound. Ideally, we would love to see this low get taken out, and in doing so, produce a significant amount of negative delta, as well as hopefully some lower time frame divergences. And, you know, essentially that would give us a lovely trigger to long this up to the equal highs, monitor the reaction there, potentially play it higher. But if we take out these highs and start closing underneath, then close out that trade. Now, you'll notice that this horizontal line has equal highs marked here. Essentially, we came up a few days ago and failed at the 25 to 50 level after taking out this local high here. And what we've done is we've created two equal highs. Now, whenever we have equal highs or equal lows, it's generally considered as sort of unfinished business, and we expect those highs or lows to be swept or taken out. And, you know, I suppose another way of putting it is those levels act as sort of magnets for price, okay? So yeah, personally looking for longs in the range lows. Hopefully if we get the sweep would be a lovely trigger and execution there. But generally speaking, we're treating these equal highs at the 25 to 50s as a magnet for price, okay? So anyway, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to keep it very short and sweet today, not too much to update. But I also thought I'd just check in and share my thoughts on the market, as I haven't done a review since the beginning of the month. Anyway, keep your eyes on the levels mentioned, monitor the reactions, and I'll be checking in soon.